Yeah, I'm probably gonna go to bed because I got woken up stupid early this morning with some dumb shit.
Oh
Um,
no, what happened?
yeah, we so what we've been doing on Sundays is we've been going to Kayla's dad's house for dinner.
Hmm.
And usually I just, because we close early on Sundays, I get off of work and I just head over there and meet them for dinner. But because I'm off today, I was like, you know what? I'm going to make food. So after I got out of work yesterday, I went, I got all this stuff to make chili, some smoked chipotle peppers, beans, the whole everything. And I was going to do, instead of ground beef, I was going to do a smoked beef roast to put in there. So
Okay.
I set the smoker up. I always check the weather before I do the smoker for any extended period of time because I don't want any sort of stupid rain bullshit to come through to fuck anything up.
Right.
Looked like we were completely clear. I wake up at about 4 in the morning and I hear rain pounding
Hmm.
against the windows. I had to, at 4 in the morning, put on clothes, shuffle out into the rain, and save my my roast from a soggy smoker and hope to God that the roast and the smoker itself didn't get ruined. Fortunately, all parties involved were fine, with the exception of my sleep. Because by the time, because I had to slowly, like, and quietly get out of bed and, like, run down the hall, set up the slow cooker in the house so I could finish it because at that point it was only in the smoker for about 5, 6 hours and it needed about 15. So it wasn't even like remotely close to being done. And get all this done without waking Kayla up because I had told her afterwards. I had asked her if she, heard me get up. She was like, "No, no, no." Um, and I was like, okay, good, because I know how you are. And if you had woken up at any point during this, you would have thought that someone broke into the house. Yes, someone broke into the house to cook food, not steal anything, cook food.
That's better than my wife, man. Anytime we get any noises, she's like, "It's a ghost." I'm like, hey, "It's not
It's a
a
ghost.
fucking ghost. It's never a ghost. Please stop. It's not a ghost."
Time to get your fix. It's a horrible gaming podcast. It's not good, it's not great. Horrible gaming podcast. It's not even what you would call fair. It's really not that good. Horrible Gaming Podcast.
Hello, my name is Zachariah with Old Man Gaming. Welcome. You have decided, for whatever reason that may have brought you to our shores, to tune into another horrible gaming podcast. I am not alone, nor am I mostly alone. With me is,
how weird does that feel now to have to
since
change
it's
it
terrible
on
grammar, yeah, I haven't
on
found the right one yet.
on a technicality?
Technicality.
It is. Yeah, it's on a technicality. Neil, aka Tiny Wizard,
My podcast host for
my
all but
podcast,
one. My
my
podcast.
podcast
Welcome
host
to my
fallible one,
podcast.
my podcast
Enjoy my
host,
podcast. We
my
can't do that. People have already
podcast
tuned out.
host.
Immediately tuned out.
This is gonna be a weird one
It's gonna
anyway.
be a weird one. It's
So
gonna be a weird one. We don't have any big things. We have a ton of little things, but we don't have any big things. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna skip odds and ends and extend all of our odds and ends to larger periods of time. So that's what we're gonna do. But before we get into that, we're getting ahead of ourselves. We got to thank the people who helped us make this possible. First of all, if you're watching this on YouTube, you're seeing some fancy timestamps. Behind those fancy timestamps, you're seeing some fancy graphics. Most of them are ripped from the internet, like the dirty thief I am. But the ones that are custom made for this channel are made by Mr. Mark Bell, and we thank him for that. And then, of course, the theme song for this show and all of the shows here at Old Man Gaming is provided by the man who makes the music, my brother Nick Van Sliders, and we thank him for that.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
All right, so that brings us to our first segment, our most important segment. That is Fan-teraction. That's where we, the co-hosts, talk to you guys, the fans. We read out your comments and all the places you post them. And, yeah, we just talk about them. We talk to you guys. We're transparent here, and we like to open channels of communication, no matter how much that stings us. So, well, let's get into it. First of all, from 2 weeks ago, Mr. William Houen posted just a little bit after we had already recorded. So I did not catch this, and I promised him I would read this out. So this is a comment based on what fucking episode was this? I don't even remember. I think it's We Are All Sandwich. I'm not sure, but he says, "Hi. Truth be told, I tried Chrono Trigger once, but never completed it. It's weird it didn't work out with me since I am a JRPG fan. While yeah, I don't know. Those are like the big ones too. Those are the big ones. I don't know. I never. I'm not a JRPG fan. I mean, I think I can come to that understanding. I tried it so much as a kid because all the other kids would be like, "You gotta play this game," and I'd play it. I'd be like, "Yeah, I like it," and then like in the back of my head, I'm like, "I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this." It was just pure pressure. And then
this is a solid okay.
Yeah. And now in my head, I'm old and I can just be like, I don't like this and I don't want to do this with my time. He continues with his letter. While it is not a letter. It's a comment. I don't know why I call it a letter. His mail-in letter.
Old man.
Dear, I write to you with regards to your recent show. I should do like a paper opening sound effect every time I do a comment. While it is the norm, that didn't even remotely sound like it. It sounded like you fucked a notebook. Like that was terrible. All right, so we got to get
General
through this
paper sounds.
We haven't even gotten to last week's comments. While it is the norm, I always feel weird that companies shut down their online shop. It makes the game so hard to get. Some are digital only too, so I don't know. I feel they should stay up. I agree with you. Everybody agrees with you. Or at least they should find a way to make it possible for you to not just lose your shit. Moving on. I am not super huge on Zelda. Played many, but not all, parentheses. My favorite is Wind Walker, but I played Twilight Princess, Ocarina, most handhelds once. And anyway, I would be curious to know what your 3 to 4 out of 10 Zelda games you are referring to, Zach. Okay. All right. Hey, Ubisoft. Are you willing to sail? Ubisoft, well, no, but actually, yes. Thanks for the great show. My 3 to 4 out of 10 Zelda games. I don't know. Let me think back.
Well, I do gotta say,
I gotta think about it for a sec. You put me on the spot there, and I do. It's like all thoughts drop out of my fucking head when somebody puts me on the spot.
Wind Waker. Well, while you're thinking about that,
sure.
I'll say,
go for
Wind
it.
Waker
Maybe I'll agree.
Wind Waker is right there with Breath of the Wild for me.
Oh yeah,
because you get that openness. You can literally just set sail across the map and find like little tiny islands that are just like little things to do. Sometimes there's like little puzzles. Sometimes they're like a little dungeony sort of situation.
That's very
You can look for treasure on the open seas.
You know, that's not the question he asked.
I was just talking about Wind Waker. I was just making a comment.
Neil just heard one thing and ran with it. I think
was buying you time.
Honestly, I played a lot of the Zelda games that I played when I was a kid, and I really enjoyed. When I went back to them, I found them irritating and annoying. So there is that. I think that 3 out of 4 crappy Zelda games. There were a lot that I skipped to, so this is tough. I don't know if I should speak on this because I don't know if I want this kind of internet hate either. I think Twilight Princess was my jam, but on retrospect, it sucked. I think that, with the exception of the best Zelda fight, the best Ganon fight ever, and then
Ooh, yeah.
yeah, he was.
Yeah, it
It's the
was.
best. It's the fucking
The
best.
fucking crazy ass drums in the middle of the
Oh, yeah.
thunderstorm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then
The
you're fighting him
only-
on horse, and then you're fighting him
Yeah.
just with a sword on a fucking ridge. Like, yeah, just give me a sword fight at the end. I don't need like a giant light pig that I gotta fucking shoot with arrows from the sky. I don't need that. I don't need that anime nonsense. Give me a fucking sword fight and me just ramming my sword into his chest and watching the light go out of his eyes. Like, that's the fight I want at the end. Ocarina's great, but it's always going to be a 3 out of 4 for me because of the bug it hit me with. I have spoken on this before on the podcast. When back in the day when games were on consoles, there was no way to update them. So if there was a bug in them, just some of them had a bug, and if you triggered the bug, you were fucked, period. And they also didn't have the internet where you could go on Reddit and just get really mad at the company to the point where, like, the company apologizes publicly. You just kind of had to deal with it. And Ocarina had a well-known bug where in the final temple, the water temple, if you saved and quit the game at a certain point, a key that you would have already gotten would vanish from your inventory and not reappear in the dungeon, thus trapping you in the dungeon eternally and making you restart the game from scratch. That bug hit me. I was devoted to actually beating that game, and that bug hit me. And yeah, I would say 3 out of 4 Majora's Mask. I don't think that didn't hit with me at all, and I thought it was rough. I didn't like how linear and stuck it was in its own head. Like it was trying to be an kind of semi-open world game like Ocarina was, while attaching you to this weird time, day, schedule, plot thing. And it was just too many things. I would have much rather just had a sequel to Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I know that there is some reverence for that game out there, but I did not find that game. I didn't like that game. I just didn't like that game. I am probably one of the only people who you're going to hear say this, but I didn't much care for Link's Awakening either. The new one they just released to the Switch. That was a remake of the old Game Boy one.
Yeah.
Didn't much care for that one.
So I think the issue that I had with that game at the very end was just how it just kind of like stopped.
I've talked about endings can ruin an entire game experience, and it's never more prevalent than in video games, because if you're watching a movie and it's got a bad ending, I mean, you were just watching it. It was like 2 hours of your life, maybe 3. Like, it's not the end of the world. If you're playing a fucking video game and you've devoted 20 to 40 hours or more to it, and it's got some fucking ending where everything just gets hit with a nuclear war no matter what you did, like, it ruins the experience. Link's Awakening, spoilers for Link's Awakening. I'm going to say that right now. If you don't want to hear spoilers for the end of Link's Awakening, fast forward about 2 or 3 minutes.
Spoilers for a 25-plus-year-old game.
Well, it relaunched, a year ago on Switch, so some people...
I think it was like 2 or 3, yeah.
Dude, and I'm 40, you're what, like 32? Like, there are people out there who were born after that game, so...
I mean, to be fair, I did just play it the first time.
Right. So,
like,
spoilers.
3 months ago.
So go ahead 2 minutes if you don't want to hear how that game ends. But the whole fucking game is a dream. The whole game is a dream. You wake up, nothing has happened. You haven't really fixed anything. It's a non-game. That fucking destroyed me. And I'm like, no, I can't give you a pass on this artsy fartsy bullshit, because that's just not acceptable. Not acceptable.
My issue was that the very last dungeon, the egg, was a random map puzzle that you had to go through. The only way you could have got through it is if you did all of the fetch questy item trading to find out where to go. And then it's just a big boss rush at the very end. There's no like final temple. Turtle Rock is technically the last temple.
Right.
or
Right.
the last dungeon. It's like that was like a very weird, abrupt ending, and like the
Right.
last boss wasn't even really much of a challenge, truthfully.
No, no, it wasn't. So I don't know. I will say this: all the Zelda games, even the ones that suck, get me laughs when I watch Game Grumps play it. So I'm good with that. I'll say that they all get that for me. All right, so we need to move on to this week's comments. We really got stuck on that Zelda, that Zelda comment. Moving to last week, we're gonna go right back with William Hohen again. Hi, I feel incredibly old too. No joke. It's a disease called the human condition. He then continues. YouTube in the palm of my hand. Can I even get my emails on a Steam Deck? I sure don't have any devices that can do that right now. Upside down smiley face. So I'm guessing he's agreeing with you very sarcastically. Don't know if I appreciate that. Modern gaming just sucks. Delaying a game that wasn't being made yet. Gosh. Hashtag boycott modern gaming. I don't know if I can go that far. He's followed me on so many of these. I don't know if I can boycott him on modern gaming because there are some modern games I want to play. But thank you, William. He then says, great show. Thanks to both of you. Thank you, sir, for your comment, as usual, sir. Jason then responded to his comment saying, I am old, ancient. I feel you, Jason. Jason's older than me, though. Jason's older than me. Going right back to Jason, he says, my phone is bigger than my first TV, parentheses, that I owned not my parents, and my phone is in color. I play SOD2 on my phone. That's kind of crazy. And that's fair. I'm not going to knock anybody who wants to do that. That sounds like a form of torture for me personally. I can't think of a thing I'd want to do less. And I love cloud gaming. I think it's really cool. I think Project xCloud is really cool as far as the technology goes. I personally cannot think of a thing I want to do less than play AAA video games on my fucking cell phone, which I can barely make phone calls with half the time. So go ahead.
I was just going to say, the only thing that playing AAA games on my phone, the only thing that really makes it a viable option is that Razer Kishi that I have. That is the only thing. I could not stand to play. In fact, there are some games that have touch control for Project xCloud.
No.
What?
Do you know what I play on my phone?
What?
Mahjong. That's it. Not pussy ass solitaire mahjong. Anybody who thinks that is crazy. I play Rishi Mahjong on my phone because I love Rishi Mahjong. But that's it. That's fucking it, man. And that even is sometimes like, I don't want to do this.
If I have a good enough internet connection, I can play. Like I've played Fallout 4 on my phone with that Razer Kishi, and with the occasional stuttering here and there, it has been completely fine. But
well, that's awesome.
If I don't have that, 90% of the time I will straight up avoid.
Yeah.
Like
no.
Last year I was playing through Symphony of the Night again on my phone, but I would only do it on the Kishi, even though it's got touch controls.
Okay. I would not do that. I would not do that even with the Razer Kishi. I wouldn't do that with any of that shit. I would do that with a portable system made directly for gaming. That is it. I'm not going to play shit on my phone. All right. And then Asylum66 finishes off by saying, Square's hate got Guardians on Game Pass. Looks like we win. He is speaking, of course, that the Guardians of the Galaxy game is coming to Game Pass. Did you hear about that, man?
Yeah, sorry, you had me with the mouthful.
I know, I heard the swallow. And it was...
I was trying to...
unnerving, to say the least.
I was trying so hard to get through it as fast as I could because you were
okay.
waiting for me to respond.
It's all right.
But yeah, I had heard about that, and curiosity may have me install it and give it a shot just to see what's going on with it. I mean, that's not a game that I personally would have purchased anyways, but the fact that it's coming to Game Pass is like, hey, yeah, maybe I'll give it a shot. You know, it's not like I'm paying anything extra for it. Yeah. And that is the glory of Game Pass.
Yes, that is the glory of Game Pass. And we're going to talk more about Game Pass later. But, guys, I do want to talk about something else. Well, you know what? We'll talk about that at the end of the show because I haven't actually cleared that with Neil. And I don't want to bust him on it. So, we're going to go to a break. We'll come back with the talking points. We're not going to really do talking points this week. What we're going to do is I've got 6 odds and ends. Neil's got 2. Nothing really big happened this week, but our odds and ends can be extended. So we're just going to talk about our odds and ends and just make it a little bit bigger. And then that'll be it. That'll be the show. So everybody wins, which is also why we took so fucking long in fan traction and didn't rush it along because we got time to kill. We're going to chew up space, baby. I think that's going to be the episode of name, Chewing Up Space. All right.
Chewing up space.
We'll be right back.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
All right, so that brings us to our whatever the fuck this is. So we're just riffing off some odds and ends. What do you only have 2? Do you want me to go first or?
I mean, however you want to do it, just because there's only and I think there's going to be some overlap on the one anyway. There's only one of them that I think may be some overlap, but
Is it Steam Deck related?
no, it is not
Okay.
Steam Deck related.
I have a hard time believing that you have any of the ones that I have then.
Oh,
Unless you were going to talk about the Kirby demo.
No, that wasn't on it.
Okay, well, I'm going to talk Steam Deck then for first, and I'm actually going to help your negative argument out a little bit this week. So, yeah, some negative stuff came out about the Steam Deck, and that would be that Destiny 2 warns people not to try and play Destiny 2 on the Steam Deck. It is not optimized for the Steam Deck, and the only way to play Destiny 2 is with with running Windows on it. But to run Windows on it, you have to have Proton installed. I'm not exactly sure what Proton does. I'm not that into the software stuff, but
It's a compatibility.
It's a compatibility thing. But Destiny 2 reads that as cheating software. So Destiny 2 has told people directly that if they play on the Steam Deck, there's a good chance they will be banned permanently from Destiny 2. Yeah, so it's not even just like, hey, don't play it, guys. It's you play this, you won't be able to play anymore.
Well, I mean, at least they are very upfront about it.
Yeah.
But thank God, they are the ones coming out and saying, hey, don't do this thing. It'll be bad times if you do this thing.
Well, they're trying to get ahead of that shit.
Right. Yeah, I would say, given the situation, I feel like people who are going to be getting a Steam Deck, for the most part, kind of know what they're in for. And I feel like it's a warning is more so of a courtesy than like, hey, don't be that guy that does the stupid thing and get yourself banned.
Right.
Like, I think it's one of those situations. But going back to our previous conversation, you touched on it. I believe I touched on it.
Mm-hmm.
For something that is meant to be compatible with so many different things, it's only natural that, there's going to be compatibility issues and this, that, and the other. So, like, in one hand, yeah, it's stupid that this Steam Deck can't run a Steam game that's, like, relatively, like, not super new, It's been around for a while, and it's a popular game, so you would think, oh, maybe they would have tested that for compatibility ahead of time.
Yeah.
And maybe said, hey, there's certain games like this here that meets a certain criterion. Don't try and do anything with it.
Well, and I feel like the severity of this is enhanced by the fact that you could get permanently banned from a game.
Yeah,
like,
the permanent ban, yeah.
Right, this isn't even just like, hey, it doesn't work with our system yet. This is if you play this, you will lose your, like, everything for this game. That's a little rough. I feel like that should have been, like, some kind of warning up front on it, especially when you don't have a Windows update yet, so they have to use this software. You know what I mean? Like, it forces people to easily make a simple mistake if they aren't schooled in the world of gaming. And granted, you said it, most of the people, I said it last week too, I would say 99% of the people who are getting their Steam Decks in the next 2 months are people who are obsessed with Steam, obsessed with PC gaming, and have been obsessed with the Steam Deck since day one. This thing is great. It's going to open up gaming. It's going to open up portable gaming, but it is still at this particular section very niche. That being said, there is still plenty of people that are going to be like, have no idea what they're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and eventually I think those people are going to be more and more so the ones that are going to be getting their hands on the Steam Decks.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully at that point they have a lot of those issues,
Those fixes
out.
Yeah,
or at least like something even more so to where like the system reads that you are playing, you're trying to play the game on a Steam Deck in general, and like completely blacks out Destiny 2 and says like, hey, this game is like super not compatible with the Steam Deck. We're sorry, and put like a massive warning up there. And then if there's some crazy person who doesn't care or some shit like that, then let them go ahead and download it and try and do whatever craziness they're going to do with it.
I think it's weird that our positions have completely reversed on this from week to week. However, I do want to say, I think it is a little inexcusable that any multiplayer game using Proton, which is a standard thing for anti-cheat to like ping that, you know what I mean? To hit that as like, that's cheating.
Yeah.
All of those, if you don't have that update, all of those that require Windows or require Proton should immediately be blacked out on Steam. They should have been like, whatever game requires Proton, you can't play it yet. Like, I don't understand why that would have been too hard to hit that button, to be like, this is not compatible, period. And I think that is an oversight on their end. And I know that we've entered a weird twilight zone where you were negative last week and I was positive, and now I'm negative and you're positive. Overall, I think the Steam Deck is still amazing. It's great. It's going to open up gaming. It's going to be this great thing. However, this is a little inexcusable. You're risking people's accounts on this with a thing that I don't even think required like a delay or more work. It literally just required somebody to say, hey, you can't do this here, like hitting a button on a server. And I think that's a little inexcusable.
Yeah, 100%. Like, especially too, like, this is probably something that they've known about for a while too. I don't think that this is just now today a surprise, and oh my God, tell the masses, let everyone know. Like, it was probably a thing that everybody kind of knew of ahead of time, and then maybe they should have got a little ahead of it before now.
Yeah, I think so. Should we? I got another Steam one. Do you want me to do another Steam one?
You may as well, because we're on the topic of Steam.
Segue that shit. Okay. So this one's positive. I thought this was actually kind of cool. So Gabe Newell, the founder, I think the founder of Valve, he owns Valve at least, and runs Steam. He's very much the face of Steam and the guy behind the Steam Deck right now. He was literally just driving around Seattle giving signed Steam Decks out to people who had pre-ordered it. I thought that was really cool, especially, and I am saying this as a very fat man, as a very fat old man. Gabe Newell is a big old fat old guy, and I gotta give it to him to walk around Seattle handing those out, man. I don't think I would if I was rich.
It's funny you bring him up like as a person, because when I saw a little bit of this. I didn't like watch the whole video or anything,
neither did I.
But just saw little bits and pieces of it, and he very much reminded me of a guy that you would see who is just like a regular at a tabletop game shop.
Yes. Yeah.
Just like the guy who's always in there
Yeah.
when like you're going to buy a new set of dice, maybe picking up a new rule book, something like that. He's always there at the counter chatting up the shop owner or
Yeah.
painting some minis.
Yeah. And he's another dude. Why does he look so much like George R. R. Martin? Like those two guys,
Yeah.
they got the same body type, they got the same hair. Like it's weird. It's weird, man. George is Gabe Newell and George R. R. Martin the same person? I want to know. Conspiracy. Put on
Are
a
they
tinfoil
like?
hat.
Is it like a Superman Clark Kent situation?
Which one's the mild-mannered one? They're both pretty fucking. That would be like if Superman, like, pulled off his Superman cape and was still Superman. like, you need a mild-mannered one, right? Not just two crazy enigmatic guys. Just one writes books and one makes video games. All right, so that's two for me. You want to do one?
Well, yeah, I'll do one because
Show
it's
is going
actually,
way too fast already.
Yeah, my
I'm sure
other
we'll
one
get on a
here is-
rant at some point. I'm sure.
I think there's one point I'm pretty sure we're gonna bog down on, if
Yay! Is it something that has to do with Russia or Activision?
not two. Well, I was gonna say Russia.
Or
not
are both
Russia,
of
not
yours Russia and Activision?
No,
'Cause I don't know if
Activision.
I can do this today.
Activision's one of them.
Okay.
Activision's one of them. The other one I think is we're gonna talk about the Kirby thing.
Okay, the Kirby thing's cool. That'll be
yeah.
a long one. Yeah, that'll be a long one. I don't want to talk about the everybody, the games in Russia and all that stuff. That's too much heaviness. Did I lose you?
Yeah. No, I was here.
You stopped
Sorry.
talking.
No, I thought you were talking. You were going to be talking more. I was reaching over to pick something up.
It's always a good bet that you think I'm going to be talking more. I get it.
It is. It really is. It's the safe bet. I would stake my life on it. Anyways.
All right, hit me with one of them.
So here, this one's kind of like bizarre that I even kind of picked up on this because my relationship to this has been strange from the get-go.
Okay.
Babylon's Fall. It's an MMO made by Square Enix. It released on March 3rd, 3 days ago at the time of we are recording this.
This is correct.
Apparently nobody gave two solitary shits about it.
It did not. Yeah, it's done real bad.
On launch day, it had only 650 concurrent users on Steam during launch.
Woof. That is rough. That is real rough.
Yeah, I remember seeing like when this got announced.
Oof.
And I was very interested
on launch
because,
day.
you know, on launch day. Yeah, I remember when this game got announced, it was like, wow, this is something that looks really interesting. And then, like, at the very end, it's like, oh, an MMO by Square Enix. Like, nope. you said no, I'm done. I already don't care about it.
Very rarely do I see Phil clapping at the things you say in his car. He's going to clap when you say that. So I saw it was Square Enix. Nope. He is a hater of Square Enix.
No, it's for me. It's not the Square Enix. It's not the Square Enix part. It's the MMO part that I was like, nope.
You're gonna ruin it, and he ruins it. He ruins it immediately.
I
MMOs are not
Enix
evil.
Thing.
Square Enix is evil.
I know. I personally hate MMOs.
Well, you're a silly bitch.
Square, more often than not, I either really enjoy what Square puts out or could care less that it exists, depending on what it is.
Just ruined it.
And this is one of those things that I could care less.
Trying to build goodwill over here. You just ruined it.
I know. I'm sorry.
Look, the MMO thing is not the part. First of all, Square Enix is terrible at these internet things. Whether you like them or you hate them. And I hate them because I think they're a terrible company. But they're terrible at these internet things. They keep trying them. And Square is always in charge of the servers. They never have enough. I mean, the 650 people who bought it and played it on launch day should be really happy that it did shitty, because otherwise they would have been locked out of their account because their servers wouldn't have been able to handle them. That's what fucking happened to Outriders on their beta and their launch. Like, Square is terrible at maintaining shit like this. So, like, I mean, I think there is also a precedent here of Square has done absolutely atrocious with these types. Hey, love or hate MMOs, okay? Love or hate MMOs. The word MMO can be attached. I mean, Lost Ark is killing it right now. Killing it. And that's an
Oh
MMO.
yeah.
That's an MMO. Whereas Square Enix can't get more than 650 people on their new MMO. And the reason is they have released what? I mean, Outriders isn't an MMO, but it's still a big co-op online shooter that's supposed to be all about the multiplayer. So you had that, you had Avengers, and you had this. They have, like, their track record is fucking awful. Who is gonna, like, be like, yeah, I want to sign up for number 3 of that? Like, nobody. Nobody is gonna, you know?
Yeah, the only the only sort of online MMO that Square has really done that I can recall that has actually been any sort of popular is their Final Fantasy 15, and that is only after they nuked the first version
That's true.
of it.
This is true, but and that's another thing. That one had a lot of work to bring that one back, and I mean, they're online, they're Shadowbringers or whatever, the online Final
the
Fantasy
expansions,
14 or
whatever.
whatever. That was the same thing. It was a shit show.
Or it was 14, not 15.
It was 14.
It
Yeah,
was 14.
I was about
not 15.
15's the emo is in the
15
car. Yeah,
15 is the emo frat boy road trip thing.
Yeah, which wasn't bad. I played it. The only thing I hated about it was the story was just unintelligible. Like nothing made any sense. The cool part of the game was if you just got in your car and hunted monsters, and I did that until I was bored of it, and then I was out. Like, but yeah, the 14 exactly. Like that was the same thing. It was an absolute nightmare, and they had to nuke it to bring it back. And like fair on that studio that worked on that, but like. I mean, even that. Okay, so you've got one that they did terrible with, had to nuke and brought it back. Then you've got 3 other ones that did absolutely terrible. Like no one's gonna sign on for another one of those, Square. It's just not gonna happen. All right, so should I go back with mine then?
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know what else I have to say about that one, to be honest. I fuck Square Enix. So this is a small, quick one. So Celeste, it's this platformer, super hard platformer game that deals with like mental health issues in the game.
Very good game. Very good game.
It's not my cup of tea. I'm not going to insult it, but that game,
Yeah,
I took one look at that and I was like, no, I don't need to play that.
It's definitely not for everybody, but
No.
I played through it, at least the base, the first ending.
It's definitely a
guess.
Neo game. It's definitely a Neo game. There is a very specific type of game that's a Neo game. That's a Neo game. That's a Neo game. I think that this one, nonetheless, it won a bunch of awards at the Game Awards. And this crazy story about this is they never actually got their award.
What?
Yeah, so like I can't remember why. I think it was maybe it was early pandemic. I'm not sure, but like for whatever reason, nobody gave them the award, and the award just got like lost in space and time. So fast forward, wait, it's got a happy ending. Bear with me. Fast forward to today, to present day. There's this guy who's just obsessed with like trophies, and he thinks the Game Award trophy is really cool. He wants to just get a replica. He just keeps searching for replica Game Award trophies. Can't find them. There's not a ton of them. He finally sees a picture of one in this, like, you know how sometimes on eBay they'll sell like all this shit for this amount of dollars. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, like
we found a
unclaimed
storage.
mail
Yeah,
lot.
exactly. And they'll just take pictures of it and they'll be like, $200, you can get all this shit. Well, and it was like, it was in a car garage, what was crazy. It was like an unclaimed thing from a car garage. So it came with like brake pads and mufflers or whatever, but he ended up seeing like a picture of one of the items was a Game Award trophy, and he was like, hey, that's a fucking Game Award trophy. Finally I could get one. So he paid, I think, $500 for the lot, which is a little exorbitant if you ask me. But what's crazy interesting is nobody knows how it made it to this spot, but the Game Award trophy was Celeste, the company, I don't remember the company's name, but the company that made Celeste, it was their trophy. was their trophy had somehow made it into this car garage that shut down, but it was their official Game Award trophy. It was verified, like that this was their trophy that had somehow made it here. Yeah, he took a bunch of pictures of it, and then he sent it to Celeste, the Celeste company, and they were like, because he was like, this can't be real. He sent it to him and was like, this is crazy, but it's got your name on it. It must be a replica. And they were like, we never got our trophy. We really want that trophy. If you have it, we'll reimburse you for it. And he was like, just let me do an unboxing video. So they let him do an unboxing video, and then he sent it to him, and they actually paid. They reimbursed him for the eBay lot. So they finally got their Game Award trophy like 2 or 3 years after they won it, which I just think that's the coolest fucking story. It's a crazy story right there. But yeah. So I just read that and I was like, I gotta share that with people. I think that's crazy and cool.
Yeah, that's really awesome. I'm really wondering how in the world
Well,
that made its way there.
you know what's interesting is if you really look at the Game Award trophy, it kind of looks like a hood ornament.
Yeah,
It
I guess
does.
so.
It looks like a speedster kind of thing. So I could see like I could see why the garage would have it. It's just how did the garage end up getting it and through what channels? You know what I mean? It's very strange. Very strange.
I would love an investigation,
Yeah.
like, documentary on that.
I
still
would
want
watch
to
the shit out of a documentary on
This
that.
is kind of off topic ish,
Go for
but
it. We got time.
semi-related.
True to
I
fucking
s-
space, baby.
I still want to see that documentary on them digging up the copies of ET in the desert.
Right, right.
I know it exists. I remember. I think it was on Netflix or something for a
know
while.
you know what's on HBO Max? Speaking of gaming documentaries, right now that I've got on my watch list, they did a 2-part docu-series on the whole Wall Street GameStop thing.
Really?
Yeah, I want to watch the shit out of that. I
Huh.
really want to watch that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I may have to. I may have to
What
look
the fuck
into
is
that.
it called? Now I can't remember what it's called, but it's on there. It's recent. They just added it, but it's like 2 episodes, and it's narrated by Kieran Culkin for whatever reason. But yeah, I think it's really interesting. I kind of want to get into that personally.
Huh? Yeah, I'll have to check that out one of these days here.
Well, I am down to 3. Do you want me to do another one, or do you want to
go
do
ahead
another
and
one?
go ahead and do another one because I only have one more after this.
I'm saving Kirby. So
Okay, we'll just save that for last.
All right, so there's this game. I showed you the trailer for this game. It's called Young Souls. I think this game looks amazing. I found out some more information about that game, though. So this game actually already came out on Stadia. Yeah, it was a Stadia early access game that never actually got a fully release on Stadia because, Stadia. But yeah, now they've redesigned it to put it on all other consoles in a full release capacity. And it is $25. So for anybody who doesn't know, just go to YouTube, type in Young Souls video game. It'll come up. Basically, it's a cell shaded 2D brawler, kind of like Streets of Rage. However, it's medieval. You fight through dungeons, and you can actually equip armor and weapons and almost build your characters, which the minute I saw a trailer for this, I'm like, I need to own this. I need this in my life. It needs to be mine. So I was going to get it on Steam. Guess what was just announced today for Game Pass, baby?
Oh.
Day 1 release, March 10th. So that's this Thursday, and I think if anybody cares, I'm gonna do a live stream of it. I think a launch day stream. I'm gonna do that Thursday night. I think. So yeah, if anybody out there, maybe Phil Billy wants to do it with me. I know we had said we were gonna play Ascent again for the next 330, but I really want to play this on launch day. So if Phil Billy wants to do it for me, if you want to do it with me, whoever wants to do it with me, I'll play it. If you got Game Pass, it's going to be on there. I'm very excited to play this game. It just looks right up my alley. So, yeah, super excited about it.
Speaking of Stadia, I saw that there was another Stadia exclusive game announced, which
What?
I didn't. Yeah, it's something about the moon or something.
Oh, good
I
God.
gotta I gotta look it up because I thought we were done with
I
this.
thought we were done with Stadia. That was the whole thing. They were naming it something different and gonna sell it to Peloton. Like, what the fuck? Ugh, stupid. Stupid.
I need to see what. Deliver us the moon.
Deliver us the. Why does that sound familiar? That's Stadia only?
I don't. Let me see.
We can't chew up the space with silence.
I know.
That's not what we can.
I'm trying to see.
Okay. Well, I have two more.
It's yeah. Go ahead real quick with another one while I look at this stupid shit real quick.
So I want to say this right now. If you are out there and you're like, you know who's not in trouble, you know who isn't really looking to sell, you know who everybody's got it wrong, they're not going to be the next company to sell, Ubisoft. Ubisoft's just fine. If you're one of these people, I want you to walk into your bathroom right now. I want you to kneel down in front of the toilet and just put your head in until maybe it all goes black. Because I'm going to tell you right now, Ubisoft is going in the toilet. So guess what was announced? Like they announced this game, I think 10 years ago, I want to say. Maybe not quite 10 years ago. But this is a game that this franchise started 20 years ago. It's called The Settlers. It is a strategy game. It was a big strategy game for Ubisoft back in the day. People really loved it because of its freedom, because of its aesthetics, and it's kind of like in-depth world building. So the game went away, obviously, but they had announced, I want to say like maybe 5 years ago. I don't think it was 10, but like 5 or 6, an exorbitant amount of time, they announced the reboot was coming. They gave us an announced trailer. They were going to reboot The Settlers. People got very excited, especially Settlers fans. They have since shown a lot of trailers, a lot of gameplay trailers and everything, and they had a beta. I want to say like 2-3 weeks ago. It was a closed beta, so only specific people got in. And now they have delayed it indefinitely. Based on the results of the beta, which I've never heard, Neil. I can't remember a game that died via the beta, via closed beta. Not an open beta, but a closed beta. They were like, nope, we're not releasing this anytime soon. This game was supposed to come out in 2 weeks. 2 weeks it was supposed to come out. They announced on Twitter, I want to say like 3 or 4 days ago, that they need extra time to clear it up based on the feedback that they received. The game is not where they want it to be. So they are currently delaying The Settlers. They did not give a date. They did not give anything. It is indefinitely delayed right now with no release date whatsoever based on a closed beta, meaning there was a functioning copy of this game, I guess, and people played it and it was so bad that they complained so hard. And you know, Neil, that anybody in a closed beta for a game is a super fan of that game because you have to jump through hoops to get into a closed beta. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
Like you have to want to be there. You have to. Even in the loosest closed betas, like Riders Republic, the one that I participated in, you still have to be aware of the game and go through hoops to want to be in the game. This game, so everybody in there was ready to love this. So to get that much negative feedback, I don't know. And I just want to point out, this is another in what is going on a 5-year failure run for Ubisoft. I mean, the only thing we can really say they did right was Valhalla, and that one still was like slightly better than middle of the road, if I recall correctly. They have Ragnarok coming out on the 10th, but Ragnarok's been receiving some flack because it was actually intended to be a DLC for Valhalla, and they spun it off into its own game, meaning you had to buy a whole nother game for it. So, I don't know. Ubisoft's in trouble. I've been an Ubisoft fan before. I've liked a lot of Ubisoft games that they've produced. I think that company is in serious trouble.
I mean, we touched on this the other, I don't think it was last week, but the week before. Mm-hmm. They've had all of these different games.
Yeah.
Skull and Bones, you can't get out. Mm-hmm. Beyond Good and Evil 2, they can't get out.
They can't even get it out of pre-production.
The remake of the Prince of Persia, the Sands of Time, they can't get that out. Like, all these games get announced, they get release dates, and then they just fall off the face of the earth.
Yeah,
like right before they're supposed to come out.
they do.
I mean, in some cases, like Skull and Bones, it's not real at this point. It's just a fantasy. It's never gonna be a real thing, because by the time they actually launch it, there's no way in hell they're gonna recoup those development costs.
Well, and they had a bunch of Division games announced for last year that we just haven't even heard about since. Like, they were supposed to go into beta last year. I haven't even heard anything about them since. Like, they have so many games in the ether that it's...
Yeah, all of these games that they've been announcing, this, that, and the other, and they're just okay. They're just fine. They're okay. Oh, we don't need to be bought, but if we were, hint, hint, wink, wink, like, it's very much, that child who is like trying to using reverse psychology shittily to get something that they want.
Well, you rewind to 2018. You remember when they were doing an Ubisoft Forward online showcase every 6 months?
Yeah.
4 months? When was the last time you even heard of one of those announced? Like 2020, I think. Like, I haven't seen one in forever. So, like, what do they have? They don't have any. The last thing we heard from them as a company is that whole, like, we're not for sale, but we're kind of for sale thing. So, like, I think my prediction is correct. I wish I had made it during the prediction show back in December, but I think 100% Ubisoft we're going to hear about Ubisoft getting purchased by Microsoft or PlayStation in the next couple of days. And I do want to say PlayStation does have an open window to get them right now, because while Microsoft has the money, Microsoft is dealing with the FTC, and I've said repeatedly, and I'm not going back, I'm not walking back this, that money is going to fix that problem. It's going to fix that problem for them. Money is going to fix that problem for them. However, they still don't need the bad press until it's resolved. Same with these lawsuits that are coming out with Activision, which we're going to talk about, I'm sure, but like all that stuff, like, they're going to try to get that resolved before they go buying another company that produces another third of the games in the industry. Whereas Sony could actually move in and be like, hey, you're in trouble. Microsoft can't buy you right now just because they're locked up in this fight. Even though they have the money, sell to us, we'll get you out of hot water. So this is a moment for Sony. I want to see what Sony does, because this is a real opening from a business standpoint for Sony to make a real dent in Microsoft's hold on gaming. So we'll have to see. If I will say this, if Sony doesn't buy Ubisoft this year, they are fools.
I just wanted to touch base too before we move on. This Deliver Us the Moon, I looked real quick. Yeah, I guess it did come out on PS4, Series X, and
all right. I was about to say, I'm pretty sure you can get that in other places.
Yeah,
so I saw that on Steam. I could have swore.
Yeah, it's existed in other places.
All right.
Yeah, so I mean, it was the first I had heard of it, and it was in regard to Stadia information. So I thought it was. I thought it was. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, honestly.
All right, we're gonna take, before you go into your next one or I go into my last one, we're gonna take a quick break, just because I need to give my voice a sec, and then we'll be back with the rest of the show. Okay.
All right.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
All right, so we're back. My throat's feeling a little bit better. Neil's about to talk about one that I'm going to end up being mad about and yelling anyway. So go for it, Neil.
So there's been more stuff with Activision Blizzard.
I actually have a lot to add to this.
Always great. Everything is always great with Activision Blizzard and Bobby Kotick at the helm. So we'll just start with the man, the myth, the anal cyst, Bobby Kotick. He has announced that he's going to be leaving Coca-Cola's board before the Microsoft deal closes to, quote, focus all of his energy primarily on Activision
I
moving
thought the
forward.
board of Coca-Cola had forced him out already, if I recall correctly.
No, yeah, they're very much like, no, we don't want you here anymore. He's like, no, you can't fire me, I quit. He literally pulled a, you can't fire me, I quit.
That sounds right. That sounds like Bobby.
Yeah, that sounds like Bobby. And the shitstorm just keeps getting worse and worse too, because a family is pressing suit against Activision Blizzard because the culture at Activision Blizzard is being blamed for their child's suicide. So it's very, very dark stuff, but I mean, it falls in line with everything that we've been hearing coming out of Activision Blizzard. The culture, the stress, everything. It's sad and sickening that, here we are again, just when we thought that, we thought we heard the worst of it, and it was just, them being at the bottom. It affected somebody so much that they had to take their own life.
I'm gonna go ahead and go serious on this for a second. My wife actually follows this YouTuber named Emily Baker. She's a legal YouTuber. She likes to look at lawsuits. She is a lawyer, or was a lawyer. I can't remember what the thing is. I've watched some of her stuff. I don't know all of her backstory because I'm not a big legal person. But she takes popular culture legal stuff, and one thing people don't understand: all court documents are public record. Anybody can look them up. You just have to know how. They're public record. It's legally required. You can look at any lawsuit filed. You can look at any criminal proceedings, anything, unless it is specifically sealed by the judge. They're public record. So that being said, that's what she does. She finds them. She knows how to look them up. She finds them, and then she has these podcasts where she, has people watch while she goes through the legal proceedings, and then gives her feelings on them, just talks about them. She was a big deal. She was big into the whole Save Britney thing, from her dad, that whole thing.
Yes.
So I want to get serious with this for a second, because a lot of people, I don't know that a lot of people understand what we're talking about when we say that there was human rights violations going on at Activision. This specific woman's details are public knowledge because of this lawsuit, because of this. Everything that happened to this woman is public. This woman was forced to be in a relationship with a person above her, based on her job and other things. Once she was in this relationship, he took pictures of her, specifically her vagina. He would take it to parties with other CEOs, and then he would play games with it. He would pick pictures of vaginas from porn sites and try and have the CEOs pick out which vagina was this woman that he was coercing into a sexual relationship with him. And then he would refuse to promote her because he wanted to keep her in that position so that he could continue to mentally abuse her and basically rape her. This is what was going on at this company. This hurts me. And I know that this is a little bit down, and we try and keep it fun here. But one thing about this Activision thing is we've just kept talking about it, Neil. You and me have been talking about it for weeks and weeks and months. Endlessly. And one thing I don't feel like has gotten across is exactly what these people did to other people. And that's why I really want to state specifically what another person, another human being in a company did to another woman. Okay? And again, this is just, I knew the minute you sent it to me that we were going to end up having to talk about it. And obviously you can tell from my voice, I am a bit emotional about it because I have a daughter, and I cannot imagine the things that I would do to this man if I found out any of this stuff happened. It sucks. I mean, at the end of the day, nothing's going to really get fixed because things don't get fixed. These parents will get paid because Microsoft will want this to go away as fast as humanly possible. And good on them. They deserve the money. But I want people to understand exactly why Activision has done what they've done and why it's so terrible. You know, it's not just like a, hey, baby, you know, you look good in that skirt sort of situation, which is not right. I'm not forgiving that. It's just I want people to understand the depths of depravity that these CEOs were willing to go to literally violate the human rights of other people. So yeah, so that's what I had to say about that. And I'm sorry, Neil. I know you weren't probably expecting me to go that serious, but
No,
I don't know. We've just been talking about it so long. I never feel like I get my point across. Not to you. I mean, I never feel like I articulate exactly why this enrages me so much. And this was just a chance because Melissa watches this woman. She actually knows a lot about this lawsuit because of her. So you had sent me that, and I told her about it, and then she was like, it was actually in this episode. She showed me the section, and like, don't get me wrong, I already knew terrible shit was happening there, but just the specific details were here so that I could actually say them to everybody out there. These people are terrible. They shouldn't just be fired, okay? They should go to jail for a long time. And if I had my way, I'd probably put a shotgun in their mouth. Like, this is terrible shit that they've done to other people, to other human beings. And this is a company that makes video games for people. That makes things we play with. That makes things that we unwind with. That's what this is. This isn't like a military dictatorship that did this. This is an American company that makes video games.
Yeah, I feel like it's like you said, like the severity of what has gone on at that company and everything. Like you can usually when we hear in like you said, like in the news or in general about, sexual harassment at, this company and that company and, that's what we think of on the surface is like, a boss like making some lewd comments, stuff like that. Like
exactly.
This is beyond anything. This is the sort of shit that you would see in like a twisted thriller movie.
Like, this man mentally abused and sexually abused a woman until she felt that the only way out for her was to take her own life. That was the depth of desperation that this woman felt because of what this man did to her. I don't care. Like, we live in a very segmented society with a lot of opinions and a lot of different ideas about a lot of hot button issues. And that's fine. This is something that unanimously we can all agree is wrong. You don't do this to people. You just don't do this to people. And I don't have anything else to say on it. I just felt like I really needed to get into it today to really explain why this is bad, why this company is so terrible, and what Xbox decided to actually capitalize on.
Yeah.
And that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about the depth of evil to use this to your advantage, to not just do this but use it by everybody involved. And this isn't, like I said, this is not a dictatorship. This is not a third world country. This is an American company right under our nose who did this. And they're going to get away with it. And I think that in itself is an absolute atrocity.
Yes, this is the same exact company whose entire focus right now is trying to stop unionization.
Yes.
That's what they're focused on right now. Not even what happened with this individual, not even what has happened with everybody else who's worked at the company, not any other insert headline here that you've seen or heard about in the past few months. They're only out to protect themselves, and they're only out to protect themselves because they got caught and they're now in the spotlight for this shit.
Yeah. And honestly, I don't even feel like they're out to, like, they're not even worried, you know? Like that's the depth of, like, arrogance they have, you know? That, like, I don't know. I can't keep talking about this.
Yeah, no, I was about to say, like,
and I'm sorry I took
even-
it to that place, because I know I didn't give you a heads up that I was going to take it to that place, but
I wasn't even going to talk about that part. I was just going to talk about the Coca-Cola thing.
I know.
I
can't not.
Yeah. You can't talk about it. It's like it's one of those things to where
right.
you're ignoring the elephant in the room situation. Right. Like this is just, it's just like a whole new level. Like, beyond what we've seen.
And I need people to just understand where I'm coming from on why I'm so upset about it, you know? Yeah. And why I think everybody should be so upset about it. And I think Activision does a really good job of not making it look like as bad as it was, you know? It's just a guy who walked in on a girl breastfeeding. That's not what was happening here. No. You know, and that's not right. I'm not okaying that. I'm saying that, like, we are talking about a woman who lost her life. You know? And not just lost her life because somebody killed her or took it, but because she felt no way out. And that, man, to do that to somebody, God, I don't know. Let's move on to happier things.
Yeah.
All right. So my last one, we decided to end on a more positive note. Just in case you're wondering if you really wondering if you want to get back into Kirby, or you did want to play Kirby, Kirby Forgotten Lands, the 3D version of Kirby, is coming out on the 25th of this month. And out of nowhere, Nintendo, they love to do this, and I praise them for it. They released a free demo. You can get on your Switch right now, jump on over to the Forgotten Lands and download the demo and play the first 3 levels plus a little extra bonus for free. Before we even talk about the demo, which I think we're going to talk about at length here, I love this. I love that Nintendo does this. And I hate Nintendo. I hate giving Nintendo their props. But I absolutely love that Nintendo gives us these free demos so that we can decide whether we want to buy this game or not.
Yeah, it's one of those things that it's kind of a relic of time past that we kind of take for granted. I mean, especially it was like the Xbox 360 era.
Where you get
there
the
used
discs,
to be
get the discs through the mail.
Well, that was even like the original Xbox and like the PS2 and stuff like that. Yeah, you could get the demo discs and everything like that. In fact, I still have a GameCube demo disc upstairs. But that it's one of those things that we used to kind of have all the time. And they just kind of stopped after a while. And I don't know what the deal was with that, but they've brought that back slowly but surely. At least Nintendo has. And right before the game comes out, pretty much, they'll give you a little demo, a little taste of it,
couple of weeks
to see if it's your jam. And I think that's great. I feel like that is something that can get people who are on the fence in to maybe make that purchase or something along those lines. And get a taste of whatever it is that Nintendo is slinging.
Yeah, I agree. So what did you told me you actually did play the demo.
Yeah,
What'd you think?
I played through the demo. I just played on the standard difficulty. I didn't try the challenge mode or anything like the harder mode. And I do feel like I probably should have done that. Because it was supremely forgiving and not very difficult. I think it's one of those games that's really more so aimed towards the younger generation.
Okay.
For sure, but I enjoyed what I played of it. It's one of those like sit back and kind of zone out. You don't necessarily have to focus too hard on everything that's happening.
Right.
Give you stuff to, little secrets here and there that you can look for, that you can find. Honestly, I just loved sucking up huge things and turning into stupid shit like
Yeah,
a
that's
car
fun. Yeah, that was
or
really fun.
a soda machine or a traffic cone.
So, okay. So, first of all, I have a first impressions video that came out, if you're listening to this, Monday. We're recording this, of course, before Monday, and I literally recorded that first impressions video right before we went live. So I'm going to probably be retreading a lot of stuff there, so I'm sorry about that. But I loved this demo. So, first of all, I do agree with you. I think that the difficulty is easy and maybe goes a little bit more towards the youth, but I'm going to tell you why I love that. But what I did like is, I mean, and if you really look at Kirby, none of them are really hard.
Yeah, I guess.
Most of them are pretty easy, honestly. Kirby is usually a much easier platforming experience than, say, Mario or even Sonic. Like, it's usually on the level of easier. That being said, I really like all the stuff that they added for the adults, such as the finding stuff. Like, okay, it's easy, but like, how do I get up there? How do I get this thing? How do I do this thing? You know? I think that really, really helped. And I do want to get into the trailer that you see, because I think the thing that's really going to set this game apart from Odyssey, which I actually note in my first impression that it was very Odyssey-ish in its presentation. One thing that really is going to set it apart is that city building. I think the city building is going to be awesome. Like what they showed of it, the forging new evolved abilities and stuff. I think that's going to be so cool.
Yeah.
On the level of simplicity, though, so I want to tell you my experience straight up, since we can get a little ranty with this instead of my first impressions, which was right to the point. So I downloaded it, I played it, I enjoyed it, but I thought, man, I think Stella would like this. Stella sat down after school the next day. We played it together in co-op mode, and it was the most fun I think I've ever had playing a game with her. She could do everything without necessarily being killed or really hurt, while I could actually help her with my little Waddle Dee spear guy. So with the co-op, you don't get two Kirbys. It's a Kirby and like a Waddle Dee spear guy. But the Waddle Dee spear guy was fun. Like, I hate it when they do that, but the Waddle Dee spear guy had some cool moves that you could learn. He had his own flavor and his own taste. Like, I actually thought it was kind of interesting to play the second player. And I could play with her. And while it wasn't super challenging for me, it was challenging enough to keep me involved while she got to play. And I could help her through the really hard parts, like that big boss fight at the end. The other problem, obviously, there is no voice acting in here. If your kid is not literate yet, you're going to have to read everything to him, which sucks. But that being the only problem, this is a great introductory game for a young child looking to get into video games. I loved it. And it's really great to play with your parent, too, because I didn't have to just sit there and read for her, like with Pokemon Snap. I could actually get involved and play with her. I don't know. This experience blew me away. It was so much better than I expected it to be.
So I guess then the question is, after playing that demo, is that something that you're going to consider getting on release?
Okay, so this is actually in the first impression video too, but after we were all done, it was just the 3 levels, and I explained to Stella, which took a little explaining because she doesn't quite understand games yet, so I had to explain to her that this is the demo, this isn't the full game. And she was like, so there's more, that whole thing. She's 5. But after I explained it to her, she was like, man, I really want to get this. Well, we're trying to teach her money, because teaching a child money in 2022 is kind of fucking hard. Not going to lie. Because back in the day when you were a kid, you got money, and then you took that money to a place and bought it. Everything's on a fucking card, man. Even when I make her pay for stuff, it's like, take this card, put it in a slot, give the card back to me. Like, it's a magical card that buys her, like, it's very hard to teach them that. So we came up with a system where anytime she gets money, she has to put half of it into one piggy bank to save for college, and then half of it into a spending piggy bank. And then that piggy bank, she can actually do extra chores around the house to earn some extra money. And she had gotten $25 from her great grandmother. And she had said, I basically said to her, I was like, look, if you really want this game, because she really wanted it, I was like, if you really want this game, I'll go halvesies with it on you. And she's like, what's halvesies? And I was like, well, you give me $30 and I'll put in $30 and we'll buy it together. It'll be our game. And she was like, oh, yeah, yeah. She was super excited about that. She only has $25, so she has to make $5 in the next 2 weeks. So I'm excited to make her do stuff around the house. But yeah, we're going to buy it. We're going to buy it together. We're going to buy it together. Well, yeah, exactly. But I mean, come on, she's 5. I'm going to redo everything she does. But nonetheless, we're going to buy a game together, and she's super excited to play it. So excited, in fact, Neil, that she has been going back and playing other Kirby games in the Super Nintendo and Nintendo arcade library to, like, get more
ready.
Into Kirby. And I was like, this is so cool. Like, she's all about Kirby now. So, yeah, we're definitely going to buy it. I'm super excited to buy it. I'm really excited to get into the city building stuff too, because I think that is going to be a really interesting kind of factor that sets it apart from these other 3D platformers, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I mean, I know myself personally, if I had the time to devote to other games even, I would maybe hold off a little bit. It was fun. I enjoyed it.
Right.
For me personally, it's not a $60 game situation. It is a maybe Black Friday $20 deal game for me.
Hey, man, I played it on the challenging difficulty, and I beat it without getting touched. Like, it is very, very...
I didn't try it on the challenging difficulty. I also, I told you earlier that I went ahead like a fool and got the Nintendo Online expansion pass.
Yes, you are a fool, sir.
I am a fool.
At least you were a fool. You took longer to be a fool.
Yeah, I waited it out. And
you were originally going to get that shit day one, and then...
Yeah, Paper Mario just had me, and that was it. I gave in. And then I'm still going through Horizon Forbidden West, of course. So, I mean, me buying another game right now would be a waste of time and money.
Right. Yeah, no, I get that. I totally get that. And it's definitely not made for just adults. But again, I really thought that this is just like if your kid is interested in the platformer, but they just can't master it, which is like Stella to a T. This is the one, man, because you got the floaty power and stuff, and it's very forgiving and easy, but it's still challenging and thought-provoking enough that they can't just like blast through it. They have to think about it, Yeah. I don't know. I'm very excited about it. And I gotta say, this demo was pretty cool. While I wish there was a little bit more to it, I would have liked to see some of the city and maybe some of the city building mechanics that you're going to get. Because you can like forge abilities and stuff. I do like the fact that after you beat the demo, I don't know if you noticed this, but after you beat the demo, they added a little special spice where they're like, hey, okay, you can now play those 3 levels with upgraded abilities if you want. So you can see what those upgraded abilities would look like if you forge them later.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it comes up. It's a little box, and then there's a little option that appears that it says revert abilities or whatever. So yeah, so you can actually get a little taste of upgraded abilities too, which I thought was really cool. It was a nice little addition to the demo. You don't usually get a little added bonus to the demo, So I don't know. I really liked it. I agree. It is if I was a single dude, or even just like I didn't have a kid, this is probably not a game I'd pick up. But if you've got a young child and you want to game with them and they're interested in gaming, this is number one, the game that you should pick up. Like, seriously. All right, well, that's all I got to say about it. You got anything to add, or can we just wrap this sucker up?
No, I believe that's about it.
Let's wrap this bitch up.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
All right, so that brings us to the end of the show and the shameless self-promotion that comes with it. Neil, plug away, sir.
All right. Well, we got two things. One, well, they're both Halo related, so I mean, you probably already know where they're going anyway. So one, last week we did a firefight stream where I made some custom game types to throw in there to spice some things up, and apparently it was so spicy, in fact, that it actually destroyed Zach's computer.
I've never had my computer crash. I've not once had my computer crash, and it crashed the whole computer. I've never had that happen. Never had that happen. It was very strange. I had a heart palpitations. I was like, I can't lose you. Big Red can't die on me.
Yeah, I need to go back and take a look and see exactly how, like, it in the replay of the stream what ended up happening at the end. But yeah, we kind of lost Zach there at the end, and the stream just kind of cut out.
Stream was really good until then, though. Really good and a lot of fun. I love playing with you guys.
Yeah, I think I had mentioned afterwards that I got a couple more ideas for some game types, and then from there, I don't know, maybe one of these days we do go back to do ODST firefight or wade into potentially some other waters.
Well, and if you can do custom ODST firefight too, I don't know if you can, but that would be fun too.
I'm sure you can. I've just not really messed with it.
I'm not going to lie, Neil. I'm nowhere done with firefight. Like, we've got at least a few months of firefight before I'm done doing firefight with you and your wife. It is absolutely awesome and hilarious.
Well, like I said, we've not even, outside of the one time that you and I did it for the end of the season, we have not even touched ODST firefight.
Yeah.
So there is that. And then Halo Infinite Road is no longer infinite. It is quite
very finite.
It is finite. And if there is a road afterwards, it will be the end right there as well. We're finishing up. Well, not finishing up. We are like 1/3 of the way through Halo 4.
Yeah.
And then after that, we've talked about it, and the only other way that we'll really continue is if Halo 5 comes via streaming to the PC, and we'll see how that works out. I know they said that that's something they're looking about doing, but we'll see how that all pans out.
Yeah.
But that's about to be ending here, and it was. We talked about how long it was going on. It's been like a year and a half or something like that. I think it was. We've been doing it.
Actually, nearly 2, I think, because it was 2020 when we started it. So.
Yeah. So it has most certainly had its run.
It has been a long series. I think the only thing that dwarfs it is Prelude. And possibly Borderlands 330, because
I was going to say Borderlands 330.
Yeah, we did.
Borderlands 330 went for a hot minute too.
It went for a hot minute. That's always a good watch, especially back when that's the first Let's Play we ever did. So the just technical difficulties galore on that one. And I remember I used to have to set up a table with my phone next to my face because it was the only way to record my audio. All right, so. I have a couple special plugs. Number one for this show specifically, and we're going to talk about it the next 2 weeks in the fan traction too. Here's what we're doing. So I and my family are going on vacation. It is our first family vacation since Stella has been born. We're very excited about that. We obviously cannot record that week. So what we're doing is we're doing an extra show. The extra show has to be recorded the day after a podcast goes live. So we're not going to do a normal show. What we're going to do though is, I don't know. We've got a lot of new people here. I don't know if anybody remembers. Back in the day, we used to do Horrible Arena. Basically, it was a segment towards the end of the show where myself and Neil, we would basically have a pitch off. We would take turns picking criteria for a game, like a genre or maybe a specific subject matter or something, and then each of us would pitch a game, and then you guys, the fans, would get to vote and tell us whether you liked it, whoever won, based on that. I love this. It kind of went to the wayside for a while. So what we've decided to do is bring it back for one episode. So we're going to do a Horrible Arena episode, which will go live, I believe, the last couple of days of March. So the show itself will be recorded the 24th of this month. And then it will go live on Tuesday 29th for audio and 30th for YouTube. So here's how we're going to do this. Me and Neil, we're each going to pick a topic. We're not going to pick today. We've got a little time to think about it. And then you guys, the fans, get to throw your ideas up in the comments as to what you'd like to hear us pitch out, okay? So basically it would be like action game, and then I have to pitch an action game. Neil has to pitch an action game. You guys get to decide who the winner is. So then that podcast is going to go up, and you guys will get to put in your comments who you think won the overall battle, and any thoughts you have on it. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So please check that out. But get us your ideas. We're gonna keep plugging this for the next 2 weeks. So get us your ideas of what subjects you want us to do, or criteria you want us to pitch for. They have to be in before the 24th, obviously. That being said, I have one other huge thing to plug, and it's not even for our channel. I am going to be, and I wanted to make sure that this was set in place. It was definitely going to happen before I plugged it. But March the 9th, this Wednesday, I am going to be game mastering a new live tabletop game stream. In the vein of like Critical Role and that sort of thing. Basically, I am doing a Star Trek game with 4 other gentlemen. Seatown, you guys know from the comments, as well as I've streamed with him on Twitch many times. Aether Deus, he's kind of new into our channel, but he's an older friend of mine, and he's been doing a lot of Twitch streaming lately. And then, of course, Scorn Mandark, Mr. Mark Bell, the guy who makes the graphics, will also be in there. And then this other guy that we haven't talked to in a while who doesn't do any streaming, so you guys wouldn't know. But this is going to be up on Aether Deus's Twitch stream on the 9th. So Aether Deus, you got to follow Aether Deus for it. And it's like AETHERDEUS, I'm pretty sure, at twitch.tv.com. That's where the stream is going to go live. That's where we will be streaming live. After that, he's going to put up the VOD on his channel. I am also going to put up the VOD on my channel. It won't be live at that point, but you will be able to see it at some point after that. I don't know how long the turnaround is going to be, but nonetheless, if you want to check it out live, it's going to be March the 9th, 9:45 to 10, somewhere in there is when we're going to start, p.m. on Aether Deus's Twitch stream. So please come check it out. Hopefully I do okay game mastering. And yeah, just want to throw that out there for everybody. That's it. That's all we guys got for you. You can reach us on Facebook at OldManGamingDH, on Twitter at OldManGaming9. You can join our Discord. Links in the description below. You can influence us in all of our shows from there. You can also follow me on Twitch if you wish, twitch.tv/OldManGamingDH. And then as usual, guys, as long as you keep watching and listening, we'll keep making them. See you guys next week. Pause. I'm sorry. My voice is killing me, man. I think it was because I did that stream earlier today.
Not even gonna lie, I thought, like you said, oh, I got to give my voice a second. The very first thing I thought of is like, he's got a shit, and he's just trying to come up with a very public, acceptable way to pause.
Did you see where I had to shit on the stream?
Okay, so that's literally where we jumped in. It's like, he's just telling Melissa. I'm like, what the hell? And I hear you at one point yelling. I'm like, oh, he's got to be shitting. Like, he has to be. There's literally nothing else that he can be doing right now but shit.
That's magical. Yeah, so, like, I even took a shit. I took a shit before right before we started. I took a big shit. I'm like, great, I've shit. I don't have to worry about it. This is great. And it was Melissa's first stream, so she was a little bit nervous. She took some time. That's why we were a little bit late. But, like, which was fine. I'm not upset about that, but I felt so bad because it was coming out, and I had to just like
Oh
run.
God.
Like I had to run. Like it just came out of nowhere. So I just like her first stream. We're 15 minutes in, and I'm like, just do it. Just do it. And I just deserted her to run to the bathroom. I felt so bad. I've been apologizing to her since. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I had to poop while that was going on. But yeah, I almost shit myself so bad. I sprint
Oh my God.
because I didn't want to poop here because where we stream is right in front of the bathroom.
Right.
So
That
I'm
would
just
have
thinking,
been great.
yeah. So I'm just thinking, I'm gonna hear him talking. I know I'm gonna get insulted during this stream, which I did. I knew that was gonna happen, but like I don't want my poop smell to be added to that. So like I had to sprint up the stairs.